Of recent times, right from Charlie Hebdo to the AIB roast, has hovered around the idea of freedom of expression. So I'd like to ask all of you that, is freedom of expression absolute? And does it have the right to offend? It might be possible to offend, but is it necessary to offend? And Ruchir, for example, you wrote in your article that, when I'll just kind of quote you here, that Black Americans can proudly use the words nigger and negro, but God help anyone who's not black if they do. Similarly, South Asians in Britain can make jokes about Paki or being called one, but for whites to use the word is akin to crime. Women, liberal ones, can call each other bitch, and men too, but those males have to be careful with the word. They can use it as a verb, as in to bitch about someone, but they can't call, say, Sarah Palin a stupid right-wing bitch. Similarly here, the names upper caste mothers used to shout at their kids names of Dalit castes, which were mild abuses, are now a complete no-no in supposedly Sabhya urban society. But here I don't know what point you're actually trying to make here. Is that whether all of us should have the right to abuse, or in my opinion, I feel that yes, only the blacks have the right to call themselves nigger because they have gone through that oppression and they choose to make light of it, not people from privileged positions like us who have not gone through that oppression.
Sorry. No, the point I was trying to make is that this thing can cut both ways. That these names, for example, I mean, they're names that my mother used to call me when she would be really upset with me. If I was dressed like a tramp, she would say, "You look like," and she would name a caste. Now, I would be horrified if I heard somebody say it, but that was common middle class Gujarati abuse in those days, and I don't think anybody understood it. Upper caste people didn't understand it, that was wrong. Today you couldn't do it, and I think that's a good thing. As far as the word nigger is concerned, again, it's a loaded word, it's loaded with history, and I wouldn't use it even with my black friends in America. Paki, on the other hand, is something that I don't feel so. I mean, it's used in a very racist way all across Britain in some ways, but and we're all Pakis, by the way. I mean, this is the other thing: Indians, Bangladeshis, Sri Lankans, Nepali. All of us are Pakis, so it's a word of abuse aimed against brown South Asian people. If somebody called me that, I would have a problem, I guess. I mean, the point I'm trying to make here is that it's a shifting ground in which the same abuse can be used by some people and not by some people. The same words can be used by some people, not by some people. Somebody can say something and then that's not offensive. If somebody else says it, the same thing, it becomes offensive. So the whole business is very, very driven by context and by social situation.
Right, so but when you say that you don't like to say joke about rape, and but we could joke about, say, religion, and so how do you choose this?
That's a personal choice, right?
What is
but on the other hand, if somebody made a joke about rape, which for me carried some kind of political value and some kind of political weight to the humor, I might find it acceptable. I don't know. I can imagine a situation in which or uski gaan maar di ki so and so pagared someone, and that is both homophobic and talking about a kind of anal rape at one level. At another level, we use it all the time in terms of cricket or in terms of politics or something or the other. So I mean, these things are varied. My tendency would be to, like I guess accuse here, would be to say let your dogs loose, it's fine. Beyond the point, I'm more worried about hate speech and violent actions than I am about depictions of stereotypes or depictions or usage of words and the idea that words lead to actions or insulting Islam will lead to Muslims rioting all over India, or insulting Bal Thackeray will lead to the Shiv Sena rioting, so therefore they tried to ban Moore's last sign, which is next book. I mean, the people who are rioting are at fault, and the people who are inciting the people to riot are at fault, not the people who wrote. We still find copies of Mein Kampf all over India, in every footpath. And we banned all these other books, but Hitler is popular running away. I mean, still worth it for a pirate printers to be
So
printing
would you
Hitler.
completely defend Charlie Hebdo's right to lampoon? I'm not saying that they should have been killed, but would you completely defend their right to lampoon
Oh yeah,
Islam in that
I think
way?
the argument that the Charlie Hebdo was a white majority shitting on a beleaguered Muslim minority is a completely specious argument, as I've said in my articles and stuff like this, and we've talked, and other people in France have also elaborated that the French humor. These guys were a mixed bunch of people. First of all, some of them were white, some of them were, one or two of them were Muslim. There were some women, there were gay people in there, and they were very, very marginal for a long time. And then again, these guys were of late also pretty marginal. I mean, they were attacking people like Sarkozy and Le Pen and Le Pen's daughter and Hollande and all these people. These guys are not by any stretch of the imagination the white establishment or a political establishment. They were maintaining an absolute right to lampoon. Okay. Now this is something that's been there in America, that's been there in England, that's been there in France as well, and it's a good right to have. And a lot of the stuff which is seen as, oh, this is racist, look, all these women are in burqas and this and that, a lot of that humor was not understood by people who don't speak French. So there are actually articles delineating what that humor is about, what that joke actually means, and it's a subtle, double negative, triple negative kind of joke, which we don't understand. So we just look at the fact that, okay, here are these women in burqas and they're saying, hands off our dole, hands off our dole. But the joke is actually not on those women, or that's the white right wing's idea of those women. So the joke is actually on those people who are saying, all these people come here and they live off us and they live off our taxes. The joke is actually against the National Front, the Front National. It's not against, but you have to be French to get it.
There was one argument which I think somebody from their Muslim organization made, that when they published an anti-Semitic cartoon, they were about to sack the cartoonist who was supposed to do that, but when it came to Muslims, they were expected to take it on their chin.
It wasn't an anti-Semitic cartoon. Basically, these guys also, Charlie Hebdo never made fun of someone because they were Muslim or because they were North African, or they were making fun of people in power who had power over these people, and they've happily made fun of the Israelis and of rabbis and of priests and stuff. The reason why they sacked that guy was because he actually made something which was an anti-Semitic joke, which is that, okay, this guy is, this is typical Jewish behavior to marry and go up in the ladder or something to marry someone, something like that. And who knows what the details of that were. And I'm not saying that these guys were perfect. I'm not saying that they never made any mistakes. I'm not saying, there's a whole recent cartoon which came out after the whole thing, or in that issue where there's this really emaciated, poor Indian man, I think, or South Asian man, and he's being hacked from both sides, one side by Obama and the other side by Modi. So orally and anally. And I just looked at that and I thought, man, okay, that's your humor, have it. Okay, so it's not that they always got it right, but to call them part of the white establishment that was defecating on poor, beleaguered Muslims is bullshit, right? And that's the kind of thing that we have to really understand and be very vigilant about it. If we believe in freedom of speech, of course there's no absolute freedom of speech. It's that whole business of shouting fire in a crowded room and causing a riot. But at the same time, where there's genuine hate speech, whether it's couched in whatever terminology it's couched in, Narendra Modi hasn't gone to jail, Varun Gandhi hasn't gone to jail, Bal Thackeray never went to jail. All these people, Mulayam's people, the BHP, they've all got away with it. And so have a whole bunch of people of all kinds have verged on very close to hate speech. Now, hate speech is something that should not be allowed. That is quite different from lampooning and making fun of people, or even making fun. Can I not make Sardar jokes anymore? Can I not make jokes for Bengalis? Try stopping me.